2022 Acura ILX Sedan. The 2022 Acura ILX is a small luxury sedan and it's currently the smallest vehicle that Acura makes. It also happens to be its oldest. This ILX generation came out for 2013 and hasn't gotten a full redesign since. In automotive terms, this is an eternity. Compared to rivals such as the Audi A3, Genesis G70 and Mercedes A-Class, the ILX suffers from outdated technology features, a less than luxurious interior design and disappointing performance. It's priced competitively, but that's about it. Also know that Acura has announced the return of its small sporty sedan, the Integra. We wouldn't be surprised if it replaces the ILX for 2023. But if you're set on the ILX, check out our team's expert rating below to get all the details. The Acura ILX feels like a car stuck in time. It looks fairly stylish and in line with Acura's other products, but the interior, powertrain and technology features are dated and not up to the standard set by the segment leaders. That said, the ILX is significantly less expensive than rivals such as the BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe and Mercedes-Benz A-Class. Overall, the ILX is underwhelming to drive. Acceleration is sluggish, and you really have to dip into the gas before it picks up. Passing on the highway and accelerating on an on-ramp are fine but a step or two behind what you experience in the class leaders. Performance from the brakes and steering are equally lackluster. Emergency braking distances are also longer than average. The ILX improves when experienced at a higher pace, with relatively agile handling. There's a moderate amount of body roll, but the ILX works with it and feels mostly composed. Better tires could go a long way since the standard all-season rubber doesn't match what the ILX feels like it could deliver. The dual-clutch transmission is a high point, with quick, smooth shifts and none of the low-speed lurching you'll find in less refined transmissions. The ILX doesn't meet our standards for how comfortable a luxury car should be. The driver's seat is comfortable enough, with decent bolstering and soft cushions, but it lacks the same level of adjustment you'll find in competitors. The cushions only go so far to smooth out the ILX's less than stellar ride. It feels a bit too firm all the time. While that quality helps the car feel sporty and nimble, it also means the ILX crashes over bumps. The cabin is also just too loud. The idle is rough, and the buzzy engine's exhaust note never goes away. There's also a good bit of wind and road noise, especially at highway speeds. You just don't get the same level of isolation you do in other cars in this class. Acura's two-screen infotainment system is disappointing. It's unclear what information gets sent to which display without pulling out the menu, and Android Auto and Apple CarPlay appear on the top non-touchscreen display. The menus aren't intuitive to navigate, and overall it's several steps behind the class leaders. Controls not linked to the infotainment system are much better. They're easy to read and reach, and most major systems have dedicated buttons. The relatively roomy interior is let down by a driver's seat that won't go down far enough. On more than one occasion, one of our test drivers hit his head on the roof when driving over large bumps. Otherwise, there is ample legroom and shoulder room, and backseat passengers won't feel confined or compressed. The view out of the ILX is also fine, with large windows and relatively thin windshield pillars. The ILX is way behind the times in terms of tech. The infotainment system is the same one you found in Honda and Acura products 5 or so years ago and hasn't been updated since. The two-screen setup is frustrating to use. The audio quality is fine for audiobooks and podcasts but lacks pop when playing music. Likewise, the ILX's driver aids feel a generation behind the leaders. The system is cautious and unrefined, sending up false readings on multiple occasions. The adaptive cruise control leaves large gaps and doesn't work below 20 miles per hour, a major knock since that's when these systems are often most useful. The ILX's storage is a mixed bag. Most modern small sedans have places to hold a phone and door pockets large enough to store a bottle of water or two. The ILX does not. The center console is a decent size, but the bin in front of the shifter is small and the front door pockets are narrow. The rear lacks pockets altogether. The 12.4 cubic foot trunk is a nice size and roomier than the trunks of cars such as the Mercedes-Benz A-Class, but the trunk hinge design cuts into overall storage. Things are a bit more sunny when it comes to installing child safety seats. The rear doors open relatively wide, and there's a decent amount of space. Larger rear-facing seats might be a tight fit, but that's not unusual for vehicles in this class. The outboard rear seats both have car seat anchors that are relatively easy to access. The EPA estimates the Acura ILX gets 28 mpg in combined city highway driving. We managed an impressive 33.3 mpg on our evaluation route. That's as good as or better than just about every other entry-level luxury sedan. The ILX is priced significantly less than its rivals. It's not lacking features either. There's also a decent suite of standard driver aids such as adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist. It isn't quite as premium as other luxury sedans in interior quality, but it's a step up from what you'll find in most cars at this price point. The warranty coverage is typical. Acura offers a 4-year, 50,000-mile limited warranty and a 6-year, 70,000-mile powertrain warranty. You also get 4 years, 50,000 miles of roadside assistance, though there's no included maintenance as you'll find with some rivals. The ILX looks sharp. The design is handsome without feeling overdone, and there are obvious connections to Acura's other models, including the NSX. The interior too looks pretty good, though it's not quite as good looking as the exterior. Unfortunately, it's not quite as good to drive as it looks. The ILX shares some mechanical bits with the old Honda Civic C, including the 201 horsepower 2.4-liter engine. The issue is that the power is all at the top end, so you really have to work to get peak performance. And while the chassis feels pretty nimble, the lifeless steering dampens much of the fun.